Alright guys, went back today with another high value LPVO option from Athlon, the Helos BTR Gen2. This was a pretty impressive optic on paper, so I knew I had to give one a try, and I've been falling in love with the brand Athlon over the past year, and that is in part due to Optics Planet. They sent out my first Athlon optic, and I've been trying them ever since. They also created a code 704TAC or 704TAC for 5% off your order, and that's good on any Athlon products and really good on most things on their website. So if you're buying from Optics Planet's website, definitely check it out. They also have mobile and then the standard desktop versions of the site, so definitely check out both of those. Occasionally, you can actually save a little bit more depending on which one you look at, so check both of them out. They also sent over this Athlon Mount, which mates up perfectly with this optic, and it shifts it forward for the perfect eye relief on top of an AR-15 or similar platform, but you could mount it however you want with any standard 34mm tube mounts. Now this is pretty slick because it's a 1:10 optic, and I've been really getting into 1:10s lately, but I found that companies struggle making a 1:10 that's perfect at every single zoom range. For instance, the 1 power setting, it's really important that you get a good, clear 1 power setting to be used as a red dot. But when you zoom into the 10 power setting, still able to make out that reticle system, not have a super tight eye box, and be incredibly usable at that 10 power setting. And this one does a great job at every single zoom level. Before we get too far into all of the specs and features, I do want to give a huge shout out to Callaway Ballistics for donating the 223 to help make this video. Without their support, it'd be really difficult to continue to produce reviews, and these guys also have a code 704TACTICAL for free shipping on ammo orders over $200. They also did some recent price drops and new additions to their ammo lineup, so definitely check them out, and don't forget to use that code to save yourself some money. I've been running thousands of rounds of this stuff, and it's always been really incredibly reliable, as well as just high performing when it comes to accuracy and just overall function and feed. Definitely check these guys out. Now, I'm going to show you guys some of the sides of the box so you can pause it and read off all of the exact specs and features in case you can't find something online. But I'll also leave all the information about this as well as the code so you can go over to Optics Planet's website and check it out. Now let's start off by talking about some of the basic specs and features, and the first thing I want to say is price. The MSRP, or the general sale price for this guy, is about $625, which is definitely not cheap, but when you consider other 1:10s on the market, that's actually fairly affordable. It's on sale though for $499 from Optics Planet's website, and after my code for 5% off, it drops it down to about $475, which definitely puts it into that lower mid-tier or upper low tier, depending on how you view optics, but it is definitely a high value sub $500 LPVO. Right out of the box, the first thing I noticed, and the first thing you'll want to know when you're buying a mount for this, is a 34mm tube. That's going to give you a lot more travel up, down, left, and right, as well as clearer glass, better light transmission, and overall, I really like 34mm tube options. And that seems to be an industry standard for the real premium lineup, so it's kind of nice to see it on an optic that only costs about $475 after my code. Seems like you're getting some better quality there, and overall just better performance at an affordable price. Now this one has cap turrets, and I really like to use cap turrets on an optic like this because you're really sighted in at 100 or 50 yards depending on your caliber and what you're going to be using it for, and then you're going to use the reticle system. We'll talk a little bit more about the reticle system later on in the review. So on an LPVO like this that you're going to be using as some type of defensive tool or hunting rifle, you're going to be lugging this through the fields, lugging this through the brush, knocking it around, and you may bump those turrets and shift them, so you don't have to worry about that with this. Comes with flip-up lens covers in the box. They did send out this scope mount. It's really nice as well. I'll be leaving the information for this in the description as well, and the code will be valid. Now, one thing I do want to say about this optic that I really wish would have been slightly different is on here, they've got the throw lever built in, and it's nice. Sorry, that camera's auto-focusing. But I'd like a little bit longer throw lever, or the ability to add a little bit longer throw lever. So that's a complaint of mine. A lot of those guys put a threaded hole right here, and then they allow the throw lever. But I mean, I can overlook it, but really it's a little bit stiff. The throw lever's a little bit small. So when you're flipping from 1 to 10, I find that you really have to go in and grab it and move it over, which is okay. But if you're tracking game across a field, maybe a coyote, deer, something like that, that, and you've got it at the 1 power setting to get a good understanding of what's around you and how you're tracking, and you go to zoom it in really quickly, I just want to grab up, zoom it in, and then take my shot. I don't want to worry about grabbing up and fumbling. So again, just a little bit of negative, not that big of a deal, but it works out pretty well. In the intro, you can see me shifting from a 1 to maybe 5 or 6, and it does pretty good. Now, the 1 power setting on this has some really clear glass, and it truly is as close to a 1 power setting as you can get on a 1 to 10. It's done really well. I have no complaints about that whatsoever. I've tried some other 1 to 10s in the past, and honestly, they were $700 and $800, and the 1 power setting was always a little bit lacking. Fisheye effect, it just didn't feel right. The lens system you could tell you weren't truly looking down a 1 power setting, and it threw you off for quick shots. This one does a great job. The eye box and eye relief is also really nice, so super forgiving back and forth with that eye relief, and super forgiving up, down, left, and right in that eye box. So I really like that aspect of this as well. Again, leading it to be a really awesome CQB close-up style reticle system. Now, this is a second focal plane optic, meaning as you zoom in and out, the reticle stays the same size, so it's really large at the 1 power setting, which is perfect for a red dot effect. You can truly use this for personal defense. The illumination also on this is also really well. It's not like super daytime bright, definitely not the brightest I've seen, but pretty darn good for what you get. And the illumination knob has got off positions in between each one, so you can kind of set it where you want, and it clicks into place fairly nicely, so a good job on illumination. And the last thing I really want to talk about, besides the glass clarity and the optic clarity, is going to be the reticle system, and we'll talk about that in conjunction with each other. So when you're looking at the reticle system, the center part illuminates, and it also has a circle here, but it's a half circle. It's got a center dot, leader lines, and it talks about bullet drop compensation in the manual and explains exactly how you can use your reticle system depending on what round you're shooting. So it's it just tells you everything you need to know in the reticle system. Now, at the bottom of the reticle system itself, you can see these lines that say 3, 5, and 7. That is actually ranging your target, and it explains how to range your target effectively so you can judge the target distance, then slide up into the reticle system and use your leader lines, your windage holds to take your shots effectively. Combine that with the really clear glass, you're going to get an amazing optic that can really do pretty much anything you need, anywhere from 0 out to about 700 to 800 yards effectively, and that is very, very impressive considering the price point on this guy. Everything locked up solid, everything held 0, and I'm a huge fan of this optic. Again, there are some little negatives here and there. Like the zoom lever, I feel like that should be done a little bit better, but overall, guys, this is a quality optic at an affordable price, and a 1 to 10 I can definitely recommend. There's been some in the past that I've recommended, and I liked them at the time, but as I'm going through the 1 to 10s, sometimes you find something you like a little bit better. Now, with that being said, definitely check out my other 1 to 10 reviews. There may be something that I caught over there that you like a little bit better or a little bit worse, and that'll help you make your decision. It's hard to compare everything in one video, so mainly this is a full overview of this Athlon 1 to 10, but definitely check out my other videos and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this as we continue to push through and review. And again, a huge shout out to Optics Planet for sending this optic over, as well as Callaway Ballistics for sending the ammo. And remember, both of those codes will be in the description below. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.